everybody's kind of here, so I think we should get started. My name is Bart. I work for Virtual Dining Chicago, and if somebody doesn't know what that is, it's basically your go-to resource for discovering a curated selection of virtual dining experiences, highlighting notable takeout and delivery options, supporting restaurants. We want to help restaurants find a different way to make money, especially with everything that's going on right now. But I want to introduce Chef Chris Dodson. He's a classically French-trained chef with influences from all over the world. I actually met Chris a few years ago.
Yeah.
He was a chef at Alinea, and I was a chef down the street at this little gastro pub. And he came in after work one day, and we just kind of started talking about food. And the food really brings people together, and I'm glad that we're still friends, and he gets to show you guys some of his cooking. So I'm going to let him take it away now and show us his shrimp Thai green curry.
All right. Well, thanks, Bart. Bart, thanks for that great introduction. What's up, everybody? Again, welcome to my castle. I just want to tell you a little bit about me before we get started, so we can get a little bit more personal. I'm currently still prepping, so if you don't have things prepped, don't feel bad, because we're always in the weeds over here. I'm just kidding. But I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina originally. I was in the Army for 9 years, and that's what led me to my career in cooking. My mom actually, she was a cook in the Army as well, but I had nothing to do with the Army before I joined. But I always cooked. I cooked for my friends in the barracks because, like Bart said, I believe that cooking brings people together, and nothing like having a beer or a glass of wine and just hanging out with your friends and cooking. So I just want to make sure that we feel like we're friends, just hanging out and cooking together. This dish I learned when I was working at Alinea. I got a job there. It was my second restaurant that I ever worked at. So you don't have to be like a super chef to get a job there. Just in case, everybody wants a day job after this is all over. They are hiring. But I sent them an email, a really heartfelt email that I wanted to work there, and they let me come and do a working interview. I did that for 2 days, and then I got a job, and then I worked there for 2 years. It was very, very difficult. But when I started there, everybody that worked in the morning would have to make staff meal. And I learned this from the chef de cuisine at the time, Simon Davies. And I was so excited because I was a big fan of his. And this is probably one of my go-to dishes. I make this for staff meal to this day. And it's very simple, but full of flavor. And it's the way I express my love to my team. And I want to share that love with all of you. So let's go through the ingredients. Does anybody have any questions thus far? Anybody want to pick my brain about anything I just said? I'll try to scroll through here too and say hello.
What's a staff meal? Just like a meal before, like you start the day or end the day?
Actually, it's in the middle of the day. So we work a lot of hours in the kitchen. And a lot of us are very dedicated, and we go home after a long day, we fall asleep, we wake up, we get ready to go to work. So some people don't eat until staff meal is served. So it's normally before service, and it's a time for everyone to get together and eat. Like at Alinea, the chef faculty would sit down at the pass, and everybody would eat together. All the chefs, all the dishwashers, all the front porters, everybody's hanging out together and eating. So it's a kind of team building. And then, we're getting fueled up for the night service.
What kind of staff meal would you guys eat at Alinea?
Thai curry. Like everyone had a component. Someone would do the proteins, or someone would do the veg or salad dressing. So that's your chance to really show what you got. And for salads, you just get to come up with whatever you want, whatever kind of salad dressings that you like. We do salmon, whole sides of salmon. We're feeding like 60 people. It's a big operation. So that was in addition to everything else you had to do. It was very stressful. Right now I'm grating some ginger, a little handy dandy microplane. I like to use it for my ginger because you can still get all the juice, and it makes it very, very fine. So you're not wasting a lot.
Hey, Chris, it looks like we're going to get started with the rice. Is there
Right, that's
something
right.
that they should be doing right now to kind of
All
get
right.
it
So
ready?
does everyone have their grated ginger?
Yes.
Yep.
So the rice is super simple. Everything is just going in the pot. So you bring up your mirin, your ginger, a tablespoon and a half of water,
A tablespoon and a half.
sugar. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah,
A
it says 2 cups of water, I thought.
Yeah, so it's 2 cups of rice and 3 cups of water.
3 cups of water.
And there's 1 cup of mirin. So rice is normally 2 parts, 2 to 1.
Mhm.
Right, so that mirin is going to give you your extra cup of liquid. So the rice is going to be sweet. So don't be alarmed by the sugar that's in the recipe because it's going to help balance out with the spice of the curry. So you just bring it all in a pot and bring it to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, that would have released all the aromatic goodness of the ginger. We're going to add our rice to that. So we can put everything in the pot except for the rice. So that's the 3 cups of water, the 1 cup of mirin, and the 2 ounces of grated ginger. So I believe everybody has all the ginger in one container. Is that correct?
So this is the first.
Yep, that's right.
Yes, so this
Yeah, so
ginger-
you could just do a tablespoon out of there and then reserve the rest.
Great.
Is everybody good so far?
Got it.
I already dumped all the ginger in, but I'm not that worried about it.
Me too.
Okay,
Look at that.
my apologies.
That overhead camera.
It's right, it's still gonna be great. Not too worry.
If we don't want it like sweet, do we like can we reduce the sugar?
Yes, you can reduce the sugar. But I would recommend to do at least a teaspoon of the sugar because you want it to counter out that spice in the curry powder.
Did you say all the sugar goes in the water?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yep. And if you don't want it as sweet, then I would at least do a teaspoon of the sugar because it's necessary.
Sugar is up to you. You can put in the 2 tablespoons, or you can put in 1.5.
Yep. It's up to you. You have a little wiggle room.
He's here.
All right. So next we're gonna marinate our shrimp, and you're just gonna get some of that grated ginger, and we all have the peeled garlic. And you're just gonna mince that garlic. So you smash it the easiest way that I find to mince the garlic, but we'll have Bart give you the demo since you can't see my camera setup. Where you at, Bart? See you through everybody. But you just smash that that garlic with the side of your knife.
Yeah, I am just getting some ginger so you guys can see, or getting some garlic so you guys can see my screen. Basically, you just take your knife flat and use your palm to kind of smash it down a little bit. And then when it's smashed, it's easier to just dice up and it'll be in little pieces already.
Perfect, Bart. And we're gonna take our cilantro. So a lot of people don't use the stem of the cilantro, but I learned to use all of it. We actually had a salad. There was a dish at Alinea. I keep referring to that because that's where I learned a lot of my craft. It was a dish. It looked like concrete, and under that concrete was a salad. The concrete was made out of meringue, but it was a salad with mushrooms and parsley stems. Ever since that day, I never threw a stem away. So you just mince these cilantro stems, and they're gonna go in the marinade for your shrimp.
Cool, Chris. I am still on my garlic real quick, so I might need a second. I don't know if anybody else is.
Yeah, I'm mincing all the garlic, right? Everything that was.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
While we do the garlic and the cilantro, do you have any other awesome stories from Alinea you could tell us while we do this?
So one time I got to cook for Chef Atkins. Oh, my mom's here. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
That's Rosalind. Hey, Ros. I got to cook for Chef Atkins. We went to Spain for a month. We did a pop-up because they were renovating the restaurant for the 10-year anniversary. And I guess Chef was just tired of eating the food of Spain. We got off late at night. A lot of the restaurants were closed, and then we woke up early in the morning, and a lot of cured meats were what were on the table for breakfast. While they were delicious, I mean, very, very delicious, after day 15, 16, we want something a little different. Chef Simon, he was a chef de cuisine at the time, and he comes in the kitchen and asks me if I'm ready. And of course, I'm pumped up. I'm a pumped up little chef. I want to do whatever I can so I can get the chef's attention. And of course, I'm ready. And he said, all right, well, can you make some staff for chef? I was chipping ice blocks at the time, and I just stopped what I'm doing. What'd you say, chef? Can you cook some staff for chef? He wants some pasta with a marinara cream sauce. It's like, no problem, chef. Roger that, chef. No problem. All right, and he says, okay, and he goes on about his business. He said, what, about 30 minutes? 30 minutes. He goes upstairs, and I start freaking out. Like, oh my God. So my buddy Jared, your rice water should be coming to a simmer right now. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And
really quick, chef, clarification. How do we prepare the garlic? Do we just crush it? And
yep, you just crush it, and then you're gonna mince it and smash it.
Thank you.
And you're gonna take a tablespoon of that garlic and all of your minced cilantro stems, and put that in the bowl with a little bit of oil, just a splash of that oil that we have, and we're gonna marinate that shrimp. We're not gonna sear the shrimp. We're gonna end up poaching the shrimp at the end once we've developed our sauce.
Chef Dodson, quick question.
Yeah.
Why grapeseed oil?
You can call me Chris.
Hey, Chris, why grapeseed oil? I've never.
Well, grapeseed has a very high smoke point.
Ah.
Yeah, so it's just a common practice. Is what I have in the house, and we just keep that on hand. And it's my go-to oil. I use olive oil for finishing. I don't cook with olive oil because the smoke point isn't as high. I do cook with it if you're gonna sweat something out. You start off in a cold pan and add your vegetables in.
Mm-hmm.
How's everybody doing on the minced garlic? Good.
I have mine minced. I'm just combining it in a bowl now, I think.
Okay.
That's next, right?
Yep, that's next. But before then, we're gonna marinate that shrimp. So you're gonna take a tablespoon of that garlic, all of your cilantro stems, and a little bit of oil, just a drizzle of oil, just to make it wet.
All right. My water looks like it's boiling.
All right. Mine has come up to a boil. Everybody there? Oh, once it's all there, let's everybody grab a spoon.
Do we have to cut the cilantro stems?
Uh-huh. So you're gonna save all the leaves, and then you're gonna chop up the stems.
Thank you.
No
Hey,
problem.
Chris,
What's up, Mom?
I got a question. Next time when you do this, is it possible to get a menu, a copy of the menu and the ingredients, so that people that's not in Chicago can get a copy and follow along?
Absolutely. We'll definitely make sure we talk about that after this for sure. But I can send you anything if you need.
Yeah, so we if you signed up on our website for this, we actually send out an email with the menu, and that comes with the ingredient list and a little recipe guide for people that that aren't in Chicago and couldn't buy the kit.
Okay.
And also, if you can't make the video, we make a little recap of the video, so you could always follow along at your own time.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So I am about to put my rice in the pot. Chris, is that what we're doing right now?
Before that, I want everybody to taste it. Taste your rice water. It should be a little bit of salty. It should be a little sweet. You feel the heat from the ginger. I have a drawer of spoons that never has spoons in it because I'm tasting everything. It should be a little salty, a little sweet, a little spicy. Is everybody getting that?
Fantastic.
Yeah, good thing. Yeah, I think mine needs a little bit more salt, so I'm gonna add a pinch of salt to mine. And then in with the rice. So we're gonna give that a stir and then turn it to low and cover it. Well, you can see me from here. Hi, everybody. I forgot about this over here. This is kind of cool. Oh, but you can't see me here, right?
You can't hear you when you're way over there.
Okay. All right, so I just put it in there, gave it a good stir to give it a good mix, and covered it and put it on low. So everybody set a 12-minute timer, and then we'll check our rice after 12 minutes. It'd be pretty close. And then in the meantime, we're gonna start our good curry sauce. One more thing before we actually start the sauce, we're gonna get our garnish together, and that's the scallions, the scallion tops. And we're gonna julienne those on a bias. You got us, Bart?
Yeah, definitely. So for people that don't know what cutting on a bias is, it's basically just an angle so we can get more of the green stem there. If we cut them horizontally, you just get little pieces, but we want a little bit more. So I think everybody could see my board. What I'm going to do is kind of group the stem together and then just cut on almost a 60-degree angle to try to get some nice like long slices out of them. Hopefully I'm doing this right, Chris. If there's anything you want to add, please let me know.
No, that looks great.
So,
that looks great. They're gonna go right on the top, and they'll kind of wilt into our sauce. Yeah, that's beautiful. And if you want to get really fancy, then you try to get them as thin as you can get them, and they'll make a nice pile. I'll do a couple.
Yeah, show us your version of this. I'd like to see some Alinea cut scallions.
No, if we were doing a linear style, we would actually turn them into ribbons. You cut them down the middle, and then you scrape out all the membrane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, you scrape out the membrane, and then you slice them into strips. We don't have enough time for that, but next time. But this is how I just cut in the bias, really little, thin little guys.
Ginger, garlic.
No.
So Chris, why do you use just the green part of the scallion versus the?
So we're gonna use the white inside of the actual curry sauce, but we're using the greens for garnish because it doesn't have as much as that onion flavor. It's more, it's a little fresher and not as oniony.
Got it.
So it's really good for a garnish, and then it adds a little color.
It looks like Andy might have a question about the shrimp. Should the shrimp be in a bowl with the cilantro and garlic and oil for now? It's just marinating, right?
Yeah, it's just marinating.
Cool.
So that's a good question.
You salt with the shrimp?
Yeah, hit it with a pinch of salt on your shrimp. So we season everything as we go. I didn't mention it, but I'll make sure to as we go along. But everything, this is a pinch of salt. Excuse me?
Should we add the shrimp to the ginger garlic?
The ginger garlic. So we're gonna get ready to mix that together in the pan. So we'll drop our minced ginger and our minced garlic in the pan when we start our sauce. And the sauce will take about 15 minutes.
Chris?
Yes.
It's Jennifer. I cut up all my garlic. Is it all supposed to go in that bowl with the ginger and the cilantro, or it was only part of it?
No, just a teaspoon of it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No problem. So how's everybody feeling right now? Is everybody confident we're gonna make this tasty curry?
Chris, can I just level set? The rice is going. Water was boiling. 12 minutes simmer. I have the shrimp marinated in some of the garlic and the cilantro stems.
That's right.
right? And we bias cut the spring onions.
That's right.
That's all I have so far.
Yep, and that's where we are. And as soon as we all get caught up on the onions, then we'll start the sauce.
Perfect.
So
The
you're
shrimp
right
are
on time.
supposed to be with the ginger, garlic, and cilantro. Sorry, I'm like the remedial person right now.
Oh, no worries. What was your question again?
The shrimp are supposed to be in the bowl with the ginger, garlic, and cilantro.
So all of your cilantro stems, just a teaspoon of your minced garlic, and your shrimp with a little bit of oil and a pinch of salt.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Please feel free to ask all the questions that you like. This is home. Does anyone have anything to drink? Is anyone drinking any libations, sipping up some wine?
Yeah, I've got wine.
Do you see how much I'm struggling here? The last thing I need is alcohol.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what kind of alcohol do you recommend? I'm having gin, but what would be good with this meal?
Well, that's a margarita. Really cool and refreshing. I think a gin and tonic. I don't drink. I'm currently on this workout program. It's called E2M Fitness, so you can check that out later. But definitely do check it out, E2M Fitness. And we can't drink. Can't drink except for on Fridays for our cheat meal. So I'm holding out. I don't know what I'm gonna eat, but I know I'm gonna have it.
Drink dry Gewürztraminer with it. Like Riesling tends to be really good. So something sweeter or drier to counteract the curry, the spiciness of the curry and like the richness of the cream. But if you don't like white wine, like rosé would be great, or sparkling rosé would be really good. Lambrusco even, if you want to get crazy. But
you're crazy.
Those are my thoughts.
Thank you. How's everybody doing with the scallions?
Good.
Everybody ready? Ready to rock and roll? So turn your big pot on to medium, and then drop the rest of your oil in. Oh, look at my rice is going crazy. I didn't turn it down.
And keep the white part separate.
How come no one told me my rice is going crazy? I'm just kidding.
Do we need to cut all of the scallions or just the green part?
So we're cutting the green part of the scallions at an angle on a bias. And then the white parts that you already have that are cut up, we're going to add that to our sauce as soon as we get it started. So right now, turn your pot on.
Okay, thank you.
And we're going to add the oil to the pot.
Chris, Andy has a quick question. Are you talking like a saucepan or more of like a pasta?
More of a sauce pot. Can everyone see the?
Yeah. Is everybody looking at that overhead shot?
No.
No.
What if you're a total loser and only have one pot?
I think that's okay. One pot's okay.
Word.
I see. Yeah. So it's more of like a shallow.
Yeah, like a Dutch oven.
Oh, a Dutch oven. Okay, so bigger.
Oh, okay. I have that amazingly.
Word. Does everybody have their limes juice?
No, not yet. We'll do it now.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris. So they just got full limes.
Okay.
We're gonna have to
My
get them
apologies.
juiced.
So we can turn the pot off. Turn the pot off, and we'll juice the lime, and then we're going full speed.
Cool.
If you don't have lemongrass, you can use the zest of your lemon. I'm sorry, I had to get my thoughts together. And you just grab your handy dandy peeler and you peel it from edge to edge, and you get your little strip of lime. And this is gonna imitate the flavor of the kaffir lime leaf. The kaffir lime leaf, it has the flavor of lime. It's just a little bit more brighter, a little more herbaceous. And you're gonna peel one of those limes. You don't have to have nice strips. They're just for flavor, and they're gonna come out. and you can just go from end to end. It's easier when you're laying it on the board because it'll just fall over. Can everybody see that? Bart, can you highlight
You
yourself?
wanted us to take the peel off one line, right? Just one?
I beg your pardon?
You just wanted us to take peel one line, right?
That's right. Yep, just one.
And then juice all three of them anyway.
We're gonna juice two of them.
Juice two.
We're gonna juice the one that you peeled first, and then we're gonna juice the other two. I mean, the other one. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Never mind. I figured out my answer.
Did everyone turn off their pots?
My rice pot? No, my Dutch oven pot?
The pot for the curry.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, I got my pot out and I dumped the oil in it, but we have to do these limes. After you have your lime peel, you're just gonna roll it on your board and apply a little pressure. And then cut it in half and squeeze it. Does anyone have any questions up to this part right now?
Why do you roll the lime?
It helps to soften it up. These tiny little guys are hard to squeeze. So as you roll it, it kind of breaks up the little membranes inside.
We are squeezing it into a separate bowl, or
Yep. Yes,
okay.
into a separate bowl, and we're gonna pour all that juice into our sauce in a little bit.
Sick. All right, so right now I have the rice pot is going. I have another pot on the oven that is not. I haven't even started that burner yet.
That's right.
Okay.
And that's all you need. And right now we're gonna juice the lime.
Okay.
You got your lime peel?
Yep.
Where you rock and roll. Yeah.
Cool. Is anybody having trouble with the pace that we're going at? If anybody needs to slow down or you missed a step and want to ask a
Obviously,
question,
I
please
was,
do.
but he slowed it down for me, so I'm good.
It's going fast
Awesome.
for me, but it's sort of like it's like a speed cooking show game.
A quick
Oh no, it does, but it doesn't have to be. We could definitely slow it down.
What are we doing with the limes again? I know we're juicing two, and then we're using the rind of one of them.
That's right. And
Okay.
we're using the rind of one of them, so it's going to imitate the flavor of the kaffir lime leaf. So
you were rolling the lime on your board. What were you doing? Sorry, I missed that.
We're rolling it to make it softer. So we're gonna cut it in half and juice it.
Okay.
So just to soften the lime. But does anyone else need a demo on peeling the lime?
What do we do about seeds in the lime? You know?
That's a good question.
Oh, that's
So-
weird. Did you get seeds in your?
No, I was gonna ask
I don't have
if
any.
you are seedless.
Yeah, so we try to buy. So we bought you guys, or the people that bought the kit got Persian limes, and the cool thing about Persian limes is they don't come with seeds, so you don't really have to worry about that, and you could just squeeze away.
What about seedful limes? What do you do about this?
All right. So that's a good question.
Ask the chef.
We cut the cheeks. We cut lemon and lime cheeks. You can do this with almost all fruit. Strawberries, you can cut the cheeks off, just leaving the core. So from top to bottom, you just cut that little part off, and I'll show you a cheek.
No, he didn't cut what you just said. Okay.
Yeah, just how you cut it
Oh,
out.
got it.
You know how you
Yeah,
cut it.
and you leave the core, and that it's so much easier to just squeeze that little juice out of the core. But this will give you a very hefty squeeze of lime.
With no
So you need
seeds?
some juice on the fly.
You're cutting through the cord.
Oh.
So like you would cut on either side, like a spine. You cut through the
Oh
spine.
my god, that's insane.
Yeah, you just cut like you were cutting around the core of an apple.
Like an apple, yeah.
Yeah.
Stick. Damn.
Peter's learning a lot.
Well, I'm glad we're having a good time. Is everyone caught up? Are we ready to juice? Has everyone juiced?
Yeah. 2 limes you said, right? 2 full
Yep,
limes?
these are 2 limes.
The peeled lime and then one of the unpeeled limes.
That's right. So you want to use the peeled lime so you don't waste it.
Yeah, makes sense. I don't think you rolled this one enough.
It's a very tough line.
How's everybody? I know we got to keep checking in. There's Bart.
Yep, I'm right here. I think I'm ready to go, hopefully.
Has everyone been doing a lot of cooking at home since the pandemic has started?
I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah, tons. Yeah.
So you
I've
find
been
this helpful?
Lauren makes this insane mushroom sauce. She's got to tell you about it.
Or please do tell.
So it's just a lot of butter and wine.
Oh, well, you can't go wrong there.
Right.
We took a week off from cooking, like we just got overwhelmed. But for a while there, we were tracking 4 or 5 nights a week we were cooking.
Wow, that's awesome. That's some serious dedication right there.
Hey, just a follow up to that mushroom sauce comment, but I thought that was all cooking.
A lot of butter and wine.
Like anything we make,
anything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess
You either drink it or you put it in your food. There are only two ways
That's
about it.
right. Oh, that's beautiful. I think we're on the same page. I think we could hang out.
I've been eating unbelievably well and then not really eating at all because of the great meals that you can buy from restaurants like El Ideas and Alinea and Wherewithal and Smith. It's truly been phenomenal eating.
Is it different than where you're accustomed to? Were you already frequenting those restaurants before the pandemic?
I would go out. I go out to eat, but this is like Alinea had their 15-year anniversary, and they did a tasting menu that you could take home. It was $50.
Wow.
So they're doing a comfort food menu a lot of the time, but this was an Alinea menu,
right, for
$50.
Yeah, so that's a sweet deal.
There's some really amazing eating to be had right now.
I concur. If anyone comes to South Carolina, we're doing a pop-up over the summer. It's called The Experience. But we're doing experience takeout because, all we can do is take out at the moment. And I'm actually the executive chef at a private dining club, which is like night and day compared to Alinea, right? But I enjoy it because the menu changes every single day. We have about 500 members. This place has been around since 1950. It's crazy. It's been in every war, like the city of Camden, the Revolutionary War. I'm not a bit history buff, but I think that's pretty cool.
It is cool. I think I'm ready for the next step.
Chef, I got a quick question. My rice looks like it's just about done, like it's super fluffy. Okay. But you're still liquid. Do we just keep going till liquid's pretty much gone?
No, we're actually going to turn it off. It should be just a splash, and then it's just going to carry over. Oh, I forget about this beauty here. But mine has just a little bit of liquid. Well, no, it doesn't. It's almost gone.
I might have gone too low. I'm going to let it keep cooking a little bit.
Taste it. What's your texture like? Does it taste like it needs to go longer? Is it nice and fluffy and tender? You can't see in my drawer. My drawer has no utensils in it.
Mine's a little undone. I'm leaving it.
So just fluff it. Fluff it with your fork. It takes about 12 to 16 minutes. So it depends on the heat of your stove. And mine's ready. I'm going to just turn it off and just let it steam. If you taste your rice and when you chew it, it feels mostly gone, but then you just get a little bit of crunch, it will carry over. That steam will finish it. And it'll be perfect. We eat it. But taste it. We'll taste it again in 2 minutes. Can someone set a 2-minute timer so we can all come back to our rice? My phone is currently above my
I got you, Chris. I will put that 2-minute timer on. Mine has a little bit too much crunch still, so I'm going to leave the heat on for a bit.
Yeah, mine is too much crunch.
Mine too, and a little watery. I mean, it's a little gummy, I feel.
A little gummy?
Yeah. Should I?
Mine is so sweet and delicious. I'm tempted to just throw the rest of the meal in the fridge, and I'm just going to eat the rice.
Just eat the rice with some butter and wine? As far as your gummy rice,
Chris, should we turn the big pot on yet?
Yep, you read my mind. Right now, let's get it rocking. You're gonna start that pot on medium heat and go ahead and drop your oil in. And while we're waiting for that pot to heat up, let's get all of our mise en place together. So we're gonna need the ginger and the rest of the garlic. So all of your minced ginger that you have left, all the rest of your garlic that you have left, you're gonna combine that together. That's gonna be the base of the sauce. We don't want this to get too hot, so I recommend you go ahead and get your medium spoon, and we're gonna set everything up right by our stove. We're gonna treat this just like stir fry. And we don't want to get any caramelization on the vegetables, or it's gonna go from a green sauce to turning it brown.
Awesome. So is there a way to tell when the pan is ready for the vegetables to go in there?
Normally you would wait till it's shimmering, but we don't want our pan to get that hot. So we're gonna add in our ginger and garlic mixture now. But generally, if you're gonna sear your meat or something like that, you want to hear a sizzle and you know it's ready. But we want to sweat these vegetables, so we're gonna drop it in now and then hit it with a pinch of salt. Someone that looks like me didn't even turn it on. When you grab your salt, the normal person that is not a professional salt, their pinch of salt is 1/8 of a teaspoon. A professional chef, normal 3-finger pinch is a teaspoon. And this was tested at Home Chef. Home Chef is a meal kit delivery service. And when I left Alinea, I worked there. And I thought it was pretty awesome, but it was very challenging because we had to work in very tight constraints as far as health is concerned. You know, we had sodium limits and different limits on what we can put on the food. So it was tough, but it's very creative, a very creative learning process. I had to think very differently. All right, so we're gonna just start to sweat these vegetables. When you start to smell them, then you know it's time to add the next step. And after the ginger and garlic starts to get fragrant, we're gonna add in our bell peppers and our onions.
Hey, Chris, random question. What made you move to South Carolina from Chicago?
My wife is in the Army.
Oh.
And she got stationed at Shaw Air Force Base. She followed me to Chicago. We were blessed enough that she was able to find this Navy base that had Army people there, and she was able to meet me there. I actually moved to Chicago from El Paso, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was my very last duty station.
Excuse me? Must I add half of the bell peppers or all the bell peppers?
All the bell peppers.
So all the bell peppers and all the onions, because the recipe says differently.
Yeah, Chris, I think the recipe said to put the rest of the bell peppers in while the curry's cooking towards the end.
Oh, I'm sorry. And you guys are right. The reason why we do that is so you can have a little bit more crunch at the end of the recipe, and it add a little bit more color. So just take out a handful. It's just for garnish. Okay, guys? Thank you. Feel free to stop me, continue to ask questions because I'm human.
Oh, and your 2-minute timer has been up. Should we check our rice again?
Yes, check the rice.
Hey, do we put the limes in the ginger garlic stuff?
Nope. We're going to set the limes aside. We'll deglaze with lime juice in a second.
Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to add the bell peppers and the onions next. Right in.
Cool.
How's it smelling? Is everybody smelling good already?
Yeah, it smells fucking great. Sorry, it smells great.
Right. We're going to take it up a notch. We're going to add a nice pinch of salt. And I was talking all that jazz about salt because we were going to add a pinch of salt. So nice pinch. So adding the salt will help to sweat the vegetables. And when you add it, when it first starts, it makes the onions a little sweeter. It gets a little bit of those sugars start to come out of the vegetable. Release a little liquid. Keep it from sticking.
Little liquid. What liquid do we put in there?
There's no liquid. You add a pinch of salt, so the vegetables will release a little liquid. We won't want to make this stick at all. So, as far as the curry paste is concerned,
What's the curry?
the more you add, the spicier it is. I recommend that you start with half of it, but if you're really feeling froggy, then drop the whole thing in it. And the more
When do we add this? Sorry.
we're gonna add this next. So as soon as your onions start to get translucent or really get fragrant, we're gonna add half of the curry paste. Continue to move the vegetables frequently because you don't want them to stick and start to color. So you want no colorization on the vegetables.
How's everybody doing right now? Is everybody cooking their vegetables? Hopefully.
Yes.
I will take that as a yes.
Yes.
I'm glad. I don't want anybody to be left behind right now because this smells so good. Chris.
Yeah, the aroma is amazing.
Smells pretty good. That's good. Good. All right. So this is about half of the chili paste. Is about a tablespoon. It's spicy but it's tasty. If you have a low tolerance to spice, you can just add a little bit and add more. Yeah, add a little bit more towards the end and balance it out.
What's in this curry paste? Are we in?
Make sure you continue to scrape down the sides so it doesn't stick to the sides.
Hey, Chris, one of our viewers asked what was in the curry paste.
It's a few different kinds of chilies. There's bird chilies. There's lots and lots of garlic, lots of ginger. There's turmeric, lemongrass, serrano chilies, curry leaves, ground up curry leaves.
Do you make the chili paste or do you just buy it somewhere?
Actually, I have a curry paste recipe, and it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing something for like a big function, then we will buy it. But any other time, then we make it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and deglaze our pan with half of the lime juice. So we're gonna hit it with the lime juice early. It's gonna really concentrate that lime flavor.
Hey, Chris, what does deglazing a pan mean for people that might not?
When you're, you see how as you start to stir the pan, you have those little bit of sticky bits at the bottom. So that deglazing is when you rinse the bits from the bottom of the pan. You rinse all the goodness from the bottom and unstick it. So deglaze.
We should add the lime juice to the pan, right?
I beg your pardon?
Should we add the lime juice to the pan with the onions?
I'm having a hard time hearing your question.
I got you.
He was asking whether we should add the lime juice to the sautéed onions and green peppers.
Yeah, that's right. We're adding half of that. And all of the veg stock. So right now in the pot, you should have half of the lime juice and all of the vegetable stock.
Oh, all right. So now we pour in the vegetable stock. Cool. There we go. Chris, it looks like your phone video might have went out. Just a heads up. There we go.
We're good? Are we good?
Yep, we got it.
Do I need to stir my rice periodically, or is it okay just?
No. Your rice should be done. It should be off and ready to roll. Did you taste it with us?
I tasted it earlier. It was like a little bit shy of being all the way done, but you told me to just let it be and
Yep.
use the steam with the lid on it to finish it.
That's right. Did you taste it again?
No, I've been busy with my pan.
All right, well, let's taste the rice. Well, I just saw that comment about butter and mezcal. I can get down with that.
Are we adding the coconut milk as well?
Well, we're gonna let it come up to boil and then add the coconut milk.
All right, I missed on the lime. It's all the lime juice or just half the lime juice?
Half of the lime juice.
Good, Mom. Are you sure to have
Casey, I need a little hand washing real quick, guys.
So, Chris, what was the brand of curry paste if you don't make your own? On the instruction that says "my ploy," is that?
Yeah, that is the brand, the muy ploy. Let me grab a container so you guys can see it. So good.
Go for it.
I like that. That'll counteract the spice.
This rice is so good.
Well, I'm glad you like it. This is it. This is the green curry paste. This is my go-to. They make yellow and red curry.
Okay.
Everybody got it?
That's the paste or the whole?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Hey Chris, what do we do with the jalapenos? I don't know if I missed that part.
Oh, they're gonna be garnished.
Oh, cool.
How about the scallions and the fish sauce?
Am I supposed to have added the coconut milk or still?
We're about to add the coconut milk now. So, little chef tip: always shake it up. Shake it up, and then help loosen up your. You guys shouldn't have a can of coconut milk though.
Oh, Chris. Yeah. What about the fish sauce? I don't know.
The fish sauce goes in towards the end. That's what we're gonna season it with. So fish sauce is very very salty. So if you add it now, as your sauce cooks and starts to reduce, then it will make your sauce saltier. So we add it at the end to season it.
And what
so
about
as we
the
adjust our
herbs?
seasoning, then we'll add the fish sauce.
What
So
about
I
the
just added
herbs?
the coconut milk, and we can add the scallion. Add your coconut milk and add your scallions, the ones that are the whites.
So does it need to come to a boil before we add the coconut milk, or it's
No,
good enough?
It'll start to simmer. Once you start seeing those bubbles in it, then add your coconut milk and then your scallion goodness.
All the scallions, right? Yeah. The white scallions, not the green ones for garnish, right?
That's right.
Ooh.
And Chris, the herbs, the other herbs, not the scallions, are just for garnish also, correct?
That's for garnish also. Right.
Thank you.
And then a little piece of lime. I didn't tell you guys how I felt about the Corona. I'm very grateful for the opportunity that we have to spend with our family. I mean, it really sucks that a lot of people are having a hard time, but it's also, I feel, a blessing in disguise for sure. We're definitely getting to connect in ways that we haven't connected before. This is an awesome experience, and this is cool. Welcome, and thanks for having me for sure. Well, on another note, we gotta get to these kaffir lime leaves. So drop your lime zest. You can start with about 5 of them. I have some actual kaffir lime leaves. Sometimes you can find them in Whole Foods or specialty markets, and it normally comes in little packs of 3 to 5, and they're like $2. They're pretty cool shape. You stick them in your freezer. That helps to preserve them. But we have lime zest, which will imitate the flavor, and we'll drop about 5 of those into our pot. And it's almost ready.
So good. Ooh, it's a little spicy.
I recommend everybody taste it. You got
so good.
I have a question, sorry. So after adding the coconut milk and the scallions, do we add the lemongrass?
We're gonna add the lime zest. Yep, you're right on track. So we're talking about the kaffir lime leaves. So the lime leaves are going in, and then everybody's caught up. We're gonna add in the lemongrass. So we're layering flavors. You don't add everything all at one time because it gets muddled. So you add a component, and then you let it dance in the bathtub, and then you add another component, and let it dance in the bathtub. And then by the time you're finished, it's a party in your bathtub. I started a garden, and I have some lemongrass from my garden.
We have a few vegetarians in our family, so I also like marinated tofu.
Nice.
And I'll probably cook shrimp on the side for those of us who eat shrimp, and then do
That's
tofu
a great alternative.
in the actual curry.
That's I like where your head's at. You're all right with me. Another good alternative for vegetarian is sweet potato. You could like slow roast your sweet potato, and then scoop out those soft pieces, and then just drop it right in the curry for like a contrast in flavor, and that sweetness will really help balance out the spiciness of our curry. Does everyone have lemongrass?
Yes.
When you do have a lemongrass, you kind of smack the stalk with the side of your knife.
Just like on Chopped.
Yeah, just like on Chop, and it releases the juices because the lemongrass it's inedible. Oh, this reminds me of a funny story. I lived in Japan. That was the very last duty station before I got out the Army. And that's where I decided, like, wow, I'm going to be a chef. I saw a documentary on Bobby Flay, and he didn't graduate high school. I graduated high school. So I was like, man, if he can make it and he didn't even graduate, I could definitely be a chef. My mom's been cooking. She was I think I told you that I was a cook in the Army. So it's like, man, I can do this. Here I am. Here we are. I think I lost where I was going there.
Wait, what do you want us to do?
All right, so lemongrass is in? Yes, ma'am.
No, I didn't understand how to put the lemongrass.
Okay, so you smack it. You just smack the side of it. Trats, I just threw them all in. Oh, I have a little piece. All right, so you have your kind of fat bulby end. Oh, you have it. That's the side you're going to smack. That has a little root inside. That's where the core is, like the center of your garlic, like a heart. And you just smack it with the side of your knife. Literally, put it down and smack it. No, not with the heel, but with the side, like you're gonna smack the garlic. But smack it. Don't be shy. Smack it. Where you at, Bart? Smacker.
Yeah, trying to show them right here using the side of my knife. And you kind of just like give it a slap. And then you could even see like the butt will start kind of like coming apart a little bit. And this is just releasing a bunch of flavor. And then I'm just going to dump it into my pot, like Chris said.
You just drop it right in there. So we're almost there. So once that comes back to a boil, we're going to drop in our shrimp. So we're not going to sear the shrimp. We're going to poach it in this aromatic broth, but let's taste our broth before we go there. We're gonna taste it for salt. So our shrimp was marinated and it was seasoned, but we want to make sure it doesn't lose some of that flavor when we drop it into our broth.
I think I put mine in the Was it just one lemongrass stalk or was it all of them?
Do all of them.
Okay.
All of them.
It's surprisingly harder to smack than I thought.
It's a tough little veggie there.
Should we put the shrimp?
That lemongrass.
Oh, my sauce is amazing.
Yeah, is it yummy?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so good.
I'm glad you enjoy it. Mine's a little bit acidic. I'm gonna hit it with a pinch of salt, but we'll re-season it at the end. Did everyone use all the salt that they have?
So shrimp's going in, right?
Shrimp's going in. So is everybody got their lemongrass in and back up to a boil?
Yes, sir.
Can I get a thumbs up?
Yes, sir.
Oh, who's this, sir?
And the fish sauce will go in the end, Chris?
Yep, that's gonna help to season it. All right, and we're going in with the shrimpies. Hello, shrimpies.
Man, I know I'm overthinking this, but the shrimp's in some oil and all the other stuff. Everything goes in?
Everything in the pot.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem. And try to scrape out all that goodness. It's gonna just add more flavor to your curry. So the shrimp is in. You can see it already start to turn pink. And your temperature should have went down drastically. That's the word I was looking for. Your temp should drop drastically. So you want to let it come back up to a boil, and then we're gonna turn it off.
I think the only occupation that could be more stressful than this must be flight controller at the airport.
It's fun. It really is fun. I absolutely love cooking. Love being a chef. There's a lot more to it than cooking, though. I've learned a lot more to it than cooking. I wish it was just cooking, though. You know, who wouldn't just want to cook all day? I might change my job. Depends on what you guys say. How you guys felt about today? I might just start doing videos.
You
Start
should.
cooking videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Chris. This is really fun. So is everybody back up at the boil? Is everybody boiling? Their shrimp boiling?
Yes, sir.
Boiling.
Boiling? All right,
Yep.
now turn it off.
Chris, I think I missed a step on the bay leaf. What were we supposed to do with these?
They're add a little extra flavor. So if you didn't
Can I
have
add now?
yeah, you can add it now and let it come back up to a boil. So anytime you add any aromatic, you want to let it come back to a boil because it's gonna beat it up with those bubbles and release the flavor.
Absolutely, thank you.
Beat it up. All right, so everybody's pot should be off. So grab your serving bowls and let's get ready to plate this thing.
Woo!
So excited. I can eat it.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, we add the
What
bell
about the fish
peppers
sauce?
and the fish sauce. Yeah.
Yeah,
About
so
the
we're
fish
gonna season it. We're gonna check our shrimp. We'll check our shrimp. So your bay leaf is your flavor enhancer because if you didn't have the kaffir lime leaf, then you can add the bay leaf for extra bit of flavor. But I think we'll be just fine, and you're gonna be just fine if you didn't add it in there.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
All right.
So
we want to add the fish sauce when the heat's off, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna adjust our seasoning in a second before we get ready to plate it. So we're gonna check our shrimp and make sure that it's all the way cooked through. The reason why we didn't want to just let that shrimp boil because we don't want to overcook the shrimp. Nothing like all this hard work that you put into this delicate dish to have a rubbery piece of shrimp. So we just let that shrimp gently finish cooking. And the technique is actually called poaching. Shrimp doesn't take long to poach, about a minute if that, in boiling water. And normally when you're making shrimp cocktail, you can make your bouillabaisse. That's the flavoring agent. You bring that to a boil and you pour it over your shrimp and you just let it cool to room temperature and it cooks your shrimp all the way through.
Hey, I got a question. How do you know when your shrimp is like? How long should I cook shrimp for? How do I know I've overcooked it? That's the question.
It'll actually start. It's normally in a big C. It'll start turning into a U. When it starts to really close up, you know that.
Wow!
We have some overcooked shrimp.
You want C's.
When
And then you just pull one out and then you break it open and you look at it. That's what I'm gonna do. So you can see. I should have pulled one out a little earlier so you can see the cooking process. But next time. But these look very, very nice.
Yeah, Chris. So we're starting to put some rice in our bowls, correct?
That's correct. I'll show you guys this shrimp. Can you see it?
Nice.
It's pretty tender, but it's firm. It's a little bit translucent on the inside. I mean, like just barely in the very middle.
Oh, hey, Chris, do we want to dump the rest of the green pepper in yet?
Yes.
Cool.
Yep. Thanks, Bart.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna grab my bowl and we'll plate this thing. Here's a good shrimp. Hello, Rice. It's good to see you again. I almost dropped it. So I'm for my little wooden bowl. Let me find myself in this thing. I'm gonna put my rice off to the side, just a mound right in the corner, just off to the edge, and then we'll fill the rest of the bowl with our broth. So off to one side. How about I do it for you?
Hey, Chris, kind of like this? Is that?
Yeah, it's beautiful, Bart. Mound it. Mound it.
Mound it. What do you mean by that?
You want it, don't pack it down. Let it be a little bit loose.
Loose. Okay.
All things wrong.
Peter packed it all down and then he had to move it.
I literally just dumped hot rice on my laptop because I was trying to show off.
Yeah.
Good work.
We'll have snacks all day. How's everybody doing? We good?
Good.
Living.
So before we start to plate up our rice, we're gonna pull out our lemongrass because you didn't want that big stick sticking out of your bowl. We're also gonna well, that's it, just the big stalk of lemongrass.
We still have the jalapenos, and the lemon peels, right?
That's right. Well, the lime peels should have been in, but we're gonna use some of them for garnish.
Oh, we forgot the lime peels.
No,
Jalapenos are gonna be for garnish. The reason why we're adding more heat is just for a little bit of freshness, a little bit of fresh spice, nice color, little green. But now we need to adjust our seasoning. So when you taste it, it should be a little bit acidic and a little bit salty. And then, of course, you get a little sweetness from the coconut. But the recipe measurements for the salt was spot on. So just dump the rest of that salt. And I'm adding about half a teaspoon of salt. Any questions? Anybody?
Can we add the additional paste if we want to now? Or?
Absolutely. If you want it spicier, add some more, but bring it back up to a boil. Remember we talked about the. So I'm gonna just add the rest of the salt.
If you do that, if you do want to add more paste and bring it to a boil, should you remove all of your shrimp so it doesn't get overcooked?
I don't. That's a good idea, but I don't think it'll hurt it. It'll just because if we were to bring it up to a boil to reheat it right now before we serve it, because some people like to see piping hot, it won't hurt it. But you just bring it to a boil, cut it off, and then serve it right there.
Cool.
That's it. You're so smart.
Jeff, can you show us what this should look like right now?
Absolutely. I just have rice in my bowl because I was talking, but let me get to work. Can you see me? We got to add our fish sauce. That's what I was getting to that. So now we add the fish sauce. The fish sauce is going to add a little funk and really round it out.
I like fish sauce.
Can we add the fish sauce into the shrimp?
You add the fish sauce right into your pot with your sauce. Yep. It's really funky. Well, I love it.
But we're not adding all of it, right? Just a little by little, or just
little by little. But I know I needed salt, so I added all the fish sauce.
Chris, we need to bring this to a boil as well, or no?
Nope. This is ready.
Okay.
This is your finishing seasoning.
Okay, got it.
It's gonna be very prominent, very like in your face fish saucing, and then you just ladle it right in there.
A lot of the fish sauce.
I would do a splash, then taste it, and do another splash because you don't know if you like fish sauce or not. But I can assure you that you do, and it will be good with all of it.
I like fish sauce. We haven't put the what was the word that we used for the scallops?
Scallions.
Oh, the scallions that you cut on a bias?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to go in now. So you're going to get a nice handful, kind of bunch them up together in your hand. You have a little bunch here. And then you just drop them right on there.
Sick.
In a little pile. a little bit of your bell peppers. Put it all up. I'll show you what I got going on over here in a second.
The fish sauce really brings it all together. It makes a huge, huge difference. It's
Right,
like
it really gives that
phenomenal
funk.
with the fish sauce.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
Thank you, Chris.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure.
I have a question about fish sauce. I am like super averse to fish sauce. I always have been. Is there like, do you ever get used to it? Or and I eat seafood, so it's not like I don't like seafood, but I don't know, that flavor just really, I don't like it.
It's super intense and funky. It's like one of those, it's like truffles. There's a lot of people that don't like truffles. You either love it or you don't. But you could substitute a little bit of Worcester sauce, Worcestershire.
But that has anchovies too, though, right? So it has a bit of that fish flavor.
So is the anchovies that you don't really get down
I
with?
just don't like that fish flavor. Yeah, I guess. But people love it.
Should we first plate the first, or should we put the scallions in?
The scallions, we're just gonna put them right on top. You're gonna make a little pile in your hand. Bart, do you have any scallions left that didn't make the plate?
Yeah. So let me just grab some right here. You just kind of take like a pinch of them right in your hand, so they're kind of like a ball, like that, and then you just put them right on top.
Beautiful.
All right, we've got a bunch of herbs. Are they all going on top as well, Chris?
They are. Where I stuck these little guys. Can you see it?
Can we see your plate, Chris? I'm just curious to see what all you have on there.
You just check it out from the stove view.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Here.
Okay, so you have the rice on one side, and then the other side is the broth and the shrimp, and then we're just putting all the herbs and this everything on.
So you can just kind of put it together as you eat it.
Got it.
I hope you all love it. If you don't like it, you made it. I'm just kidding. I'm sure it came out nicely. It was very, very, very fun. Does anyone have any more questions?
You did such a great job.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was great.
So is everybody just going to leave now?
Thank you, young man. I enjoyed it.
I don't like to eat on camera.
Can you tell me how to make sourdough starter?
Oh, wow. Can I get back to you? Can I get back to you on the sourdough starter?
I started it 3 times and it's not working.
Really? That's funny. My pastry chef, she made sourdough last week, but it took her 3 weeks to make the sourdough. 3 weeks. It took a week for the starter and some other part of the process that I wasn't familiar with, and then it took a couple of days of it rising in the refrigerator. So it is quite the labor of love.
The science. That's
oh man.
Easy.
So I just finished plating, and wow, this smells so good. This dish is so fragrant.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We're eating ours, and it's the best thing we've ever had.
Really?
It's so good.
Wow, I'm glad you like it.
Absolutely delicious. Thank you so much.
It's definitely one of my favorites.
I think it's the rice.
So in China, they eat a lot of spicy food, very spicy food, and it's always served with herbs, as well as in Thailand and the Philippines. And the mint, it helps to cool down the spice. So if it gets too spicy, you bite yourself a piece of mint, some of that fresh mint, and then it helps to cool down your palate. That's why we have the mint in the dish.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Hey, Chris, somebody in the comments, Kim Chorney, asked if there's a different protein that goes along well with this dish.
Oh, chicken. Absolutely, chicken. Chicken, shrimp. You could do fish, any kind of fish. And I highly recommend sweet potatoes for vegetarians. Garbanzo beans. Oh, I'm started with garbanzo beans.
Chris, this was awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, you guys. Cook with Chris on Instagram.
Yeah, and we have, so on the same page, you guys RSVP'd on our website at Virtual Dining Chicago. There's a virtual tip jar also. So if you guys love this and you want to help Chris out a little bit to keep cooking and maybe convince him to come back here, feel free to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to keep this stream up for everybody. If you want to ask Chris some more questions or just hang around for a little bit, go for it.
I got his personal number, so I'm good.
That was awesome. Thank you, Chris. Shout out to Bart for setting this up.
This was great. Thank you, the kids.
Thank you very much. Oh, those are beautiful.
Yeah, so the kids.
Wow.
All right, we're gonna go eat because I always get food all over the camera when I record it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure. Thank
Chris,
you.
this is Jennifer.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice meeting you.